What is it about a young life that draws us in? Is it the potential we see or the tragedy? Maybe it's when those two things collide that we really start to pay attention.
Yeah, it's a question, isn't it? What makes a story stick?
Well, today we're looking into a story out of Harlem. A story of a young man, a life cut short. We've got a stack of news clippings here and, well, let's just say the headlines only tell part of the story.
Always do. It's our job to kind of dig a little deeper, see what else we can find.
Exactly. And that's what this deep dive is all about. We're looking into the death of 16-year-old Clarence Jones.
16, just a kid, really.
Shot and killed
Haha.
near Harlem Street. The articles lay out the facts. But like you said, we want to get beyond those basic facts and try to understand what happened.
Try to understand the why.
Right, the why. And right from the start, you see these, I don't know, conflicting narratives. I mean, Clarence was on probation for robbery and suspected in another one. So there's that side of the story. But then you have his aunt, who talks about him getting caught up with the wrong crowd. She says he still dreamed of a better life.
Wanting something more.
Yeah. So what leads a kid down that path?
That's a big question. Not an easy one to answer. I mean, you look at the research and it tells us a lot about the impact of things like poverty and violence. Creates this kind of pressure cooker environment, you know?
I hate that.
Where for some kids, getting involved in crime feels almost inevitable.
Makes you wonder if this was more than just a random act, you know?
Right.
Like Clarence was already in a tough spot, and then this.
And this.
Two gunmen on razor scooters. I don't know why, but that detail really got to me.
It's a weird detail, kind of a strange juxtaposition. You know?
Totally. Razor scooters.
Like you imagine these guys, faces hidden, hoodies up, gliding along on these scooters, carrying out this, I don't know, it's chilling.
And the livery driver was injured too, right?
Yeah, stray bullet.
Just caught in the crossfire. It really shows how quickly things can escalate, how innocent people can get hurt.
Yeah, you're just going about your day and boom.
And there's another witness too, a woman. She heard the shots, saw the two guys taking off again on those razor scooters.
Can't get over those scooters.
I know, right? Black Nike hoodies, gray pants. It's like they wanted to blend in and stand out all at the same time.
Well, they haven't been caught yet. Still out there.
Which is scary.
Police found 3 shell casings at the scene, a life taken, another life changed forever, and still no arrests. No clear motive.
It's a lot to process.
It is.
And while the police investigate, back in Clarence's building, a memorial's starting to grow. People leaving flowers, candles, pictures.
You see that a lot in these cases.
It's a reminder that behind the headlines, there's a community grieving. Real people who knew Clarence, loved him.
One of the articles quotes one of his neighbors, Alicia Cox.
Oh yeah, what'd she say?
It's senseless and the gun violence has to stop.
Man, I bet a lot of people feel that way.
I'm sure they do.
It's just sad. And it makes you think, could things have been different for Clarence?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
I guess so.
What can we learn from this? What does this story tell us about youth crime, about the cycle of violence?
We've got poverty, lack of opportunity, the easy availability of guns. It all adds up to
Recipe for disaster for some.
Yeah.
And like we said earlier, these systemic factors create this environment where sometimes violence feels inevitable.
Like it's almost built into the system.
Yeah. And it's not about excusing anyone's actions,
Right.
right? It's about trying to understand the context.
Understanding the bigger picture.
Exactly.
So what do we do with all of this?
Yeah.
How do we make sense of a story like Clarence's,
Yeah.
caught between potential and tragedy?
Well, we've talked about the facts, but what about the human element here, you know?
Yeah.
Clarence was both a victim and a suspect. How do we reconcile that? How do we approach stories like his? With empathy, with a desire to understand. And can that understanding maybe help us prevent future tragedies? Something to think about, isn't it?
It is. It really is.
Yeah.